Yo, everybody, I want to welcome you to the grind frame. It's me, your boy. It's D. My partner over here, DP, Disciple.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Grind Frame Podcast. It's our first podcast.
Yep.
We're getting it on the grind.
Off the dome.
That's it. Letting it go, letting it rip. We're giving you real life decisions. We're talking about real life choices, real life action, like real life everything.
Ups, downs, stuff like that. And what we're doing is we're also keeping it, what's the word?
Realistic. Keeping it
realistic. Along those lines. But we're also being transparent. Letting you guys hear or maybe see our failures, our decision making, why we make this decision. If we fail, what do you do when you fail? And just get back up. Because a lot of times, without going further, I'm going to let me continue in a second. A lot of times we fear hold us hostage. But yeah, go ahead, B.
Right. Because a lot of us, we suffer from that, that paralyzation when you get paralyzed by fear. Some people go by false evidence appearing real, which is, one of my monikers, one of the things I go by. And so when I get to that point, I just go by what I say and say, instead of for just do it, I always say be like Nike, which everybody knows what that means. It's just do it. Sure. So, no excuses. We don't hold back any punches. So, we get right to it. So the first subject of our first podcast, introduction, of course, but it's anticipating the outcome. And I think a lot of us, we suffer from that paralyzation because we're not sure what decision we make. Either we go left or we go right. But most people don't understand, with the two forks in the road, there's always a third one. And that third one is always to go straight. And so that's based off of, that decision that you make. So what is the straight? The straight is the transparency.
That's it, man. And too many times, I thought anticipating the outcome was going to be a positive subject. Sometimes you can anticipate the outcome, and that can lead to fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, some people are afraid of success. Or the opposite of what if I fail. And a lot of times we anticipate the failure, and sometimes that paralyzes us or get us stuck on the side of that road, or that right side or the left side, instead of continuing to go forward.
Right. And again, that's that fork in the road. So you got one to the left, which is anticipating success. You got the other one, which is anticipating failure. And then that one that just goes straight and says, whatever outcome comes out, I'm just going to push forward. So that's where the left, the right, and the straight. And everybody forgets about the straight because we're too focused on the left side, or we're too focused on the right side.
Straight up. And an example of what held me bound for years is wanting to be perfect. In my mind, when I do something or I aim to do something, it's always, I gotta do it this way before you guys get to see it, or I won't do it at all. So anticipating perfection, or the fear of not being perfect, or you all not accepting what I have to put out, held me bound for years. Even with my barber license, bro.
Right.
I know that in school, I was always an honor roll student. So in that, my memory, because I can remember things like that always kept me afloat in school. So I was a procrastinator. So I would do things at the last minute. And so even with my barber license, I only been a licensed barber for 6 months?
The same amount of time I've been a licensed barber. Yeah, because you got yours right before I got mine.
I got it in May or June, somewhere up in there. But check it out.
But he been cutting for years. I mean, I ain't trying to put him out there like that, but that lets you know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was afraid that because I've been far removed from school, that I would not get a good score on the state board. Right. And so my thing was, if I'm gonna do it, get it right on the first try.
Right.
But sometimes that first try can turn to
2 or 3 or 4 of them.
Years later,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Where you're not getting anything done, and so sometimes focusing on or anticipating the outcome, be it good or bad, can also keep you bound in a place where you're not moving at all.
Right, and that'll put you in that place of paralyzation or being paralyzed. And it's so funny because I went through the same thing in my military career. I had my sergeant major, for those who know about military and stuff like that. Shout out to my vets, those are currently serving. He came to me, well, my E6 came to me, which is my platoon leader, and he asked me, he said, hey, Kincaid, are you, you gonna go to the promotion board? And I was like, nah, Sarge, I ain't ready, man, because I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to make sure I was in a good position to be a good leader.
But before you continue, there's a question that when you say that, when are you ever perfect?
There it is. There it is. Yeah, that's my whole point. Because, and I'm giving you this real life situation for those who know me, those who don't, you're getting to know me, but I've shared this story quite a bit of times, especially in cosmetology and barbering school. That moment I had a chance. My sergeant major called me to his office and asked me, Kincaid, why are you not going? I was a poster boy. Like, my uniform, dress, tight, clean, boots were shined up. I was bald head at the time, so everything was clean cut within regulations.
Clean.
I'm telling you, bro, it was clean, bald, everything. And dress, always on time, knew my job like that. But he, and I told him, Sergeant Major, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. He says, what do you mean you're not ready? Again, that perfection. And I said, well, and lo and behold, that one decision that I made affected me, I want to say 3 to 4 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, because I ended up getting promoted to sergeant eventually, not by going to the promotion boards and stuff like that, but when I got promoted to sergeant, I went to Iraq, I came back, I got promoted to sergeant January 1st of 2007. New Year, I bought in the new year in 07 as an E5. Did that, went back to my old unit, the one who wanted to promote me, and me and the new first sergeant, we talked, and he said to me, we can't put you up for your E6 right now because you missed the waiver by, I think it was 60 days. So that means that, and then of course everything else started to catapult itself after that. And so then I deactivated. Most guys don't know, deactivation. That unit pretty much closed them. It's like closing a business. Pretty much closed them all the way down. When I closed them down, I went to a whole new aviation unit with nothing but officers. That was a position for an E5, not an E6. So who knows where I would have been at that moment. Mm-hmm. I probably would have never went there, and I'm just going to give you even more transparency. I'm 36. I'd have been retired next year. Ooh. I'd have did my 20 years.
So that one decision.
Wow. That's what we're talking about. You got those forks in the road. You look, on one hand I was afraid of not being perfect. On one hand I was too afraid of trying to be perfect, and I just didn't go straight and just didn't go with the task.
So that one decision, so not choosing not to make that decision. Looking back, what would you have done different? And then also, not only what would you have done different, what would you say to someone who's actually going through that same thing?
Well, life situations are, depending on how you look at it, most people would think of it as different, but everything in life is almost exactly the same.
Sure.
Okay, and so my situation might have dealt with the military. Somebody else's situation might have dealt with, I don't know, something in school, or I don't know, something at a regular job. I would honestly tell you to sit back for. Don't ask anybody for advice. That's my first thing I would ask, and that sounds kind of crazy. The reason why I say that is because before you ask anybody else for advice, sit with yourself alone for maybe a day or 2 or 3 if it's possible. And I'm not going to say do a pro and cons list, because you might have more cons than you have pros. Because my that experience, I had more cons at the moment than I had pros, not realizing that it could have catapulted me so much more further. And so I would say sit alone for maybe a day or 2 or 3 if you can, and really think about what you want in your life, and say, what would happen if I take this promotion, or what would happen if I finish this course in school, because I might have this business on the side, or whatever the case may be. And I would say sit down for a minute, and then that opportunity comes. I will personally say go with what you don't know. Kind of confusing. It's because you don't know the future. So I would say go with it.
Straight up.
Go with what you don't know. If you know more about the bad side, then I would definitely go with it. I would just take the opportunity. And I've never let go of any other opportunity that I've had ever since that day. When I realized that, I was like, nope, never do it again. And that's when I came up with the Be Like Nike.
Straight up. And for me, man, like, I was always that person that would go after goals, achieve them. It's just, it took that one time failing at something that I could remember, failing at something, to like put me in a rut as far as being stuck. And so, but also seeing people around me fail kept me in that position.
Yeah,
so to add to what you're saying is what you just said, like, I would recommend also getting your accountability partner.
Absolutely.
Someone who can hold you accountable. Because too many times we get trapped in our own thoughts or stuck in our own mind.
Yeah.
So when what we're thinking in our mind to be real
may not necessarily be real.
It's not real.
Go with what you don't know.
Exactly.
So hold yourself accountable and have somebody else hold you accountable.
Have somebody, because I was the type, man, if I see someone who I can relate to or look like me do this, then I could believe, or seeing someone come from where I came from do something.
Right.
That's when I became a believer. Oh, I can do that.
Right.
Because for me, I excelled in sports, so that was a no-brainer for me. But it took me breaking my wrist, you know what I mean?
Right.
Failing at one time make me a non-believer in, oh, I can do this.
Right.
So, and then also along the road, a lot of other stuff that was implanted, or stuff that I chose to believe from others about myself that held me stuck.
I think we all go through that.
So,
I think we do. I think everybody. I think we all have that one person who, and it's a person that 9 times out of 10 you hold near and dear to your heart. Could be your mother, could be a father, could be an aunt, could be an uncle, could be a cousin, could be anybody, could just be somewhat of a best friend that has that mind frame. But you know what? When I think about it, the question you was asking, what would I have done differently? If I would have had somebody to hold me accountable, I probably would have went with it.
Exactly.
I definitely would have went with it because I wouldn't have had a choice but to. But because I was, in a sense, I had kids. Don't get me wrong. We didn't live together and stuff like that. I was in Europe and they were in the States. I was still continuing my military career. It's not like I was getting out at the time. So if I think about it, I had somebody right there next to me. You know, I would say, a girlfriend maybe. You know, this kind of depends on. Because a girlfriend is different than having like a wife.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that you look to every single day and like, dang, you know, I gotta make it happen. But that person holding you accountable, you know, I think that would have definitely made the decision.
So let's bring the people in on the backdrop about. So, because too many times when we long for something, it's because as a kid we probably didn't have it.
We didn't have it, right?
So I know for me, you know what I mean? I think in my decision making, if I would have had that person right there pushing me, a lot of times, like, we grew up in broken homes or fatherless homes. So that's what I used to blame it on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, at the end of the day, I'm responsible for the choices that I make. And I realize that now. However, like we were saying, if we would have had that person accountable, which I think is a father figure, because too many times we're forced to figure our lives out as young individuals.
Right.
As young men.
Young men. And some even young women.
Straight up.
And some young women, believe you me, I'm going through that situation too.
So with that, I think that's a part of what we lacked in our early development. At least for me.
Right.
And I think I remember, well, your dad's in your life, right?
Yeah, see, you come from a fatherless home.
Yeah.
I'm not going to technically say I came from a motherless home, but I came from a motherless home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So It wasn't my dad that wasn't in my life. It was my mom that wasn't in my life. Or at least the way we know them to be. Christmas, birthdays, you know, things like that. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're going to talk transparency, so my life is a slightly bit different than most. Yeah, my dad raised me. I was raised with my dad, my grandma, my aunt, my uncles, all my cousins, you know, all my female cousins. I consider them all my sisters.
Yeah.
You know, I still have my biological sister, my biological brother. I love them to death. We actually have a very, very good relationship. And we, you know, rekindled that, rebuilt that kind of on our own. But we didn't allow that to hurt us. Yeah. In the beginning, we did. Because there was times, like when I went to Texas, before I met my wife, and I went to Texas when I left Germany. That's a whole different story, but we'll talk about that in the future. Anyways, and I wanted to rekindle that relationship with them. Wanted to know my mom's side of the family, but I'm 30 now, so I got a whole bunch of stuff to do.
Straight up.
And so I wanted to rekindle that relationship with them. I went to Texas and things, and I said, okay, this is what I need to do. Got to know my sister better, got to know my niece better, know more of my grandma, my aunts, my cousins, and stuff like that. Now that was a whole totally different experience. What's much more than what I expected it to be. A lot of good, a whole lot of bad. Not on the sides of my brother and my sister. Just a lot of mixed up things. But anyways, not to get off subject. But yeah, it was just a little bit different for me. It was a lot. It was just much more different. And that person that put me in a position to where I didn't think I could do anything was my dad. I mean, God rest his soul. You know, he passed away last year, and we were still close, tight knit. You know, there's some things we'll talk about with the transparency and show you. Even though all of that, we still sitting right here.
Yep.
We still succeeding. We're still doing everything that we set ourselves out to do, and so that's us being very transparent.
Straight up.
So, yeah, it was my dad. My dad was that, you know, he was that, you know, that hard ass. Like, he really was. I was skinny. I broke my collarbone playing football. So, I get it. He used to tell me, you're too skinny, you're too little, you know. So, but I had a lot of heart until he said that, and then that kind of, yeah,
changed it for you.
yeah, it changed a lot for me. It did. It changed a lot for me, even just going through the rest of my life, like a lot of different things. So, yeah, man.
So,
yeah, go ahead, bro.
So for you, you said it was your dad.
Yeah.
And you say at the age 30.
Well, I was like 29, get ready to turn 30.
That you rekindled with your
brother and sister. Yeah.
And that's crazy because for myself, like for my dad's side of the family, and this is being transparent, like you know, growing up as a youngin, like my mom had 9 kids, so it was 7 girls and 2 boys, but everyone in that household, for the most part, had a relationship with their father. And so around, I think the age 12 or 11, somewhere up in there, around Christmas time, I started seeing everybody go off with their father. And so my last 2 sisters' fathers were in the house. So, but for me, it was little old me.
Right. By yourself.
So, yeah, by myself, in my head. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I had a great childhood, but there was moments that impacted me heavy.
Right.
Like, there was time, like, Christmas was always a by myself time. And even as an adult, before I had my own family, I would just go be by myself. As an adult, I'm talking about well into my 20s, now 30s.
Right.
So longing for that male figure, and don't get me wrong, my uncle, he played a heavy role in that. But seeing my siblings go off to their fathers impacted me heavily. Like, I'm crying in the backyard, you know.
Yeah.
Punching myself in the face like, yo, this cat don't love me. How can you make me but not love me or want to know me?
Right.
So, and then one day I remember, right, my sister pointed out, Antoine, there's your father. And me at age 11 or 12 going up to him asking to like get to know him. You know, you excited, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really didn't anticipate. So yeah, I did anticipate the outcome. In my mind, my anticipation was, yo, I'm a cool kid. I'm good in baseball. This cat finna love who I am. So to the point of going up to his window in his car, facing rejection, and so that impacted me heavily. And then funny. So that impacted me in a way that, yo, I'm gonna succeed. Not knowing that that thrust from him, that rejection from him, is what I needed to go even further in life. And then 21 years later, having the opportunity to finally meet him at the age 32, and him finally accepting me. I mean, we talk, but we're not heavy in conversation like that. But the good thing is that I had learned that I had 3 more sisters. Now, my relationship with them is a beautiful relationship. So,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, with that.
Right.
Now, in another way, like I see growing up with a single parent home impacted me is being that he was not there. I'm gonna definitely be there for my kids.
Be there for yours.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
that impact, that knowledge or wisdom that I lack from a male, because a lot of times, like I said, my uncle was in my life.
Right.
However, what I think young men need is consistent discipline.
Yes.
And consistent knowledge being poured into us.
Absolutely.
So we can then develop into the men that we are called to be.
Right, absolutely.
And not, you know what I mean, what someone called it before, extended adolescence, where then now you're doing things that you did as a child into your 20s and 30s, and not seeing change
Right.
in your generation,
Right.
because you lack the skills or the knowledge of how to be a man.
And what is a man? But you know, and it's so crazy. I mean, we can take this subject off into a whole nother realm. I know I know I could. I know I could.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because that's something I think we are gonna have to touch on in one of our future podcasts.
Sure.
Is about being that you know, taking us young black men, even white, it doesn't matter, taking us young man out of that extended adolescence into actual maturity, into actually being a man and knowing what a man was about. So with that being said, but even as kids, like you had this anticipation and things like that. You know, you expected that, and you knew what you wanted. You knew what you wanted, and you didn't get it, and of course, it ended up perpetuating you and pushing you forward to where you are.
Yep.
But at the same time, as you think about it, like you're traveling through this tunnel, and you're going through this tunnel, and you're like, all right, I'm going to anticipate that it's going to take me so many minutes to get through this tunnel to get to the other side. Now, we all know that the tunnel is black. If y'all can kind of take a moment and vision that with me, as you're going through this tunnel, and as you're going through it, not knowing that there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's within this tunnel that you have no idea. And that's even for young ladies and young men that going through this tunnel to get outside of that extended adolescence. I really like that.
Yep.
You know, and get outside of that extended adolescence to becoming a man or becoming a woman, or a good father or a good mother. There's a whole lot we got to go through before we get to that point. So for you, it was from the age of that point of rejection. Actually, it was when you became consciously aware that your dad was not there. So, but it was at the time when you received that rejection from the age of 11, and not knowing you were already going through that tunnel all the way into the age of 32. But you was already kind of, trying to figure things out, through this tunnel. And so we all go through. I went through it as well. I still go through it. Not just, my story's a little bit different. I'm gonna have to save mine. Mine's a slightly bit different. But it was until the age of 30 or like 29 when I realized that that's when I finally was starting to see the light and reach the end of that tunnel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, yeah, mine was about the same. It was pretty much about the same. And I think we all, as young men and young women, we all kind of go through that.
And another thing, like, this is why it's important to have an accountability person.
Yeah.
Because the rejection then became, it's my mother's fault.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking like, it's my mom's fault.
Right.
So then my relationship with my mom, even though I felt that we were close, but the respect, as far as highly respecting my mother, was not there, because because I'm led or left to my own thoughts.
Right.
Because not having enough knowledge about something. So then, who do you begin to torture or pour
your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts into?
Exactly.
Sometimes we don't have that person. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't. Mm-hmm. I had that person, and that person was my grandma.
Straight up.
Okay, so a lot of people they don't have that. So where do you go?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you in life trying to figure the rest of it out.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of times it was to my own self. I mean,
sometimes that causes misdirection.
Misdirection, definitely.
They causes misdirection.
I will hold stuff in, try to deal with it myself. I'll get through this. And that's why a lot of times, I sit back and observe a situation before I will open up to somebody. So yeah, let's talk about that. So
okay.
Even opening up to someone,
yeah, me and you the total opposite.
We're
total opposite.
So what I do, I'll sit back and observe a room, in a crowd. Even now, I see myself doing it now. When I get around a whole bunch of family members, it brings joy to my heart to see them happy. You know what I mean? I'm left to my space watching them being happy, and so I'm content with whatever they're doing.
But that comes from that childhood.
That comes from that childhood.
The Christmases and sitting back and doing that and watching everybody else. Yeah.
So even now, I'm careful to whoever I open up to, because no, actually, me being me now.
Yeah, you're a little bit more open now.
I'm more open.
Yeah.
But I'm still reserved into who I truly allow to come in my circle.
Right.
Because I don't need or want or desire that negative energy.
Yeah. And looking at this podcast, obviously you trust y'all because I ain't even know this.
Straight up. No, see, see, I think that's the. See, we got to do that. What it is, the disc. So I need to find out more about myself.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is like my stage where I would open up. The reason I'm able to open up is because I'm anticipating that this will help people.
Yeah. And you know what's so crazy, man? Like, you're anticipating opening up, and I'm actually moving in the opposite position, in the opposite direction than you. Cause like, you met me, you know, when we first met at barber school, I was like, yo, what up, bruh?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what's happening? I mean, I'm chopping it up with everybody. That's still kind of my personality. But now, I've learned, now I'm starting to, at the age of 36, now I'm moving in the opposite. Because I've been burned so many times. And just in this past year, I think I've been, actually no, in the past 6 years, I've probably been burned more than I have in my entire life.
Right.
The other stuff I can't do anything about. But again, I was anticipating the outcome of, if I come to you as who I really am, like this very open, welcoming, you know, warm-hearted person, that I would anticipate the fact that you would come at me the same way. But that's not true.
See, you are reversing, because when I first met you, you were very open and welcoming. But like you said, you've been burned in the past 6 years. So you were not being quote unquote careful about who you open up to. Whereas for me, I'm very careful about who I open up to. But now, if I tell you something, I'm feel like this is my mindset behind me being more open and transparent. If I'm open with you, it's because I've seen broken relationships and negative part of what broken relationships.
Right.
And because I know who people are in their hearts, in their minds, like, let's say we could be the best of friends, but because I've went through a negative situation or lived through a negative event in life, I know that you are that same person who can maybe one day have a heart change or be petty one day enough to go open up and tell someone else. So
absolutely, I agree.
If I open up to you, you know what I mean, I'm already anticipating a negative outcome.
I mean, yeah, for that person to automatically come back and say,
straight
that's
up.
It's almost human nature.
Yeah. Straight
It
up.
almost it's almost human nature.
Straight up.
It is. So I definitely don't, that anticipation, I don't disagree with that. So it's almost human nature. But I've been closed up a lot. Now I'm very transparent.
Yeah.
I'll be transparent as hell with a person. If I don't like you now, I just don't like you. And I'm just going to tell you, I don't like you. That's how transparent I've become. If you do something that you ain't supposed to do, in a sense, not necessarily like I'm your parent, but in the sense of, if I don't like that, I don't like that.
How does that feel, being like that, though? Because I know for me, I think I'm the total opposite on some days, and I struggle to tell people sometimes what needs to be told to them. So how does that feel? I think CJ would call it a gorilla.
A gorilla. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And hey, big shout out. Not no clout, no nothing like this.
Straight
but
up.
we give a lot of love, respect, and and aspiration to ET and CJ and Carl. We do this is kind of why we're where we are today. They gave us the motivation. You know, ours is a slightly bit more different than theirs, which is. As they would say, our USP, which I'm just being honest, it is because you're going to go through our situations with us. So this right here is just an introduction. We haven't really dove into anything, and the reason why and I think it's a good idea. I'm so glad that we came up, that you actually came up with the anticipating the outcome, because we don't anticipate an outcome with this podcast. Nah. That's the crazy thing about it. We're not. The only thing that we are doing is we really putting out our transparencies of literally real life decisions that we make, like day to day. Like quick example, me and my wife are looking at a house right now. We're trying to move. We've been renting for 3 years. We're living in Florida, renting for 3 years, paying our landlord's mortgage, and that's not what I wanted to do. That's a whole different subject, but we're in the market looking for a house. So I'm going to discuss that with you guys, with everybody, and let you know how that outcome and what decision I made that was good and that was bad.
Likewise the case for us.
So that's where we're headed.
And take you down the road that we travel. So, I mean, we're learning new things daily.
Crossing our fingers, road to success, road to success.
I mean, we feeding our brains with new information daily.
Yeah, every day.
So it won't rock with mediocrity or those negative thoughts.
No, we don't do mediocrity at all.
So
that's what I'm talking, and that's where when you just asked me that question, right? You just asked me, how does it feel to be that way?
Yeah.
It feels to be that way, or a gorilla, as you would say. It feels. I'm not going to say empowering. Let me not give anybody the wrong impression about when I say the word empowering. What I mean by that is it gives me the empowerment of myself, of holding me accountable for the actions in the sense that I expect someone else to have. Because I don't own a barbershop. I do work in one. I also am a truck driver part-time, full-time, barber part-time. And if there's certain barbers that, we've had that come in here and they don't do what they're supposed to do, I let the owners do what they're supposed to do. That's this is their business.
Oh yeah, shout out to Gentlemen's Cut and Grooming.
Gentlemen's Cuts and Grooming. Ken and Art. We definitely appreciate you letting us use the man cave.
Definitely.
We do appreciate that. Yeah, because right now they're going to be considered our sponsors at the moment. This is what we're going to be doing today. And they also gave me an opportunity, as a fresh, brand new barber to do this. But because I hold myself to a standard, I held this standard in school, and but now I'm in the shop. Now it's affecting not just my income. It's affecting the outcome of these gentlemen's business. And I don't necessarily say I take it as my business, but it's my responsibility. Yeah, they may be the manager, head barber, whatever. But that comes with a little bit of that title. That comes with that responsibility, And so if a barber's lacking, slacking, I'm not talking about haircuts. Because everybody, as you grow and you want to get better, you'll get better. Yeah. But if you're not here on time, if you leave too early, if you're declining haircuts because you don't feel amped to it, or you feel the lack of it, I'm going to let you know about it. Of course, like I said, I let the owners do whatever they do first. Well, not art. Art's, art. Well, if you see art,
that's another gorilla.
That's a whole different direction. So it's first Ken, and then it's me, or Ken and me, and then once you see art, then it's. Yeah, you might as well hit the exit after that. but that's how they run it, and because they have a very high standard, and I respect that standard. I live by the same standard. So being that gorilla, as long as I'm holding myself to that same standard, then I love it. I love it. I'm a gorilla with my wife. I'm a gorilla with my kids.
So in a sense, it's empowering in a way to where that you've done what you know to do.
Exactly. To be successful.
Exactly.
And to not just be successful. See, I'm gonna cut you off, bro. Let me apologize for that. But a lot of people get into the wrong impression about success. Success to me is not having a whole bunch of money in the bank account. Success to me is being able to get up every single day, do what you love, even to a point of doing something you might not love, but using that as a vehicle to perpetuate and to push you into something that you're doing that you actually do love. Like I said, I'm a truck driver in the daytime. I don't want to do it no more. I want to be in a barbershop. But again, that's a journey we gonna travel together.
Straight up.
But this right now, that vehicle of doing something that daytime job that I didn't like to do pushed me into finishing barber school.
Word.
We're talking 12 to 14 hour days, getting up at 4 and not getting home and seeing my wife until 10 o'clock at night. You know, and sometimes staying a little bit extra to learn how to do a haircut or learning a little bit more on hair color, or talking to the instructors about, okay, where am I might be lacking at and what do you feel like I should improve on? So, but that's that gorilla mentality. It's all about being successful and making, I feel like being successful is making other people successful.
Straight up.
I think that's it for me. That's just kind of how I look at it.
And essentially, money does come.
It does.
Because, like, I believe if you're grinding in your own lane, doing you, keyword doing you, your unique selling point, which is what he brought up earlier, the USP, your unique gift, and you being you is what people essentially fall in love with.
Yeah.
And then places a value on the service that you provide.
Absolutely.
However, the good thing about like being that person, no one owns you. You then put a value on yourself, so you define your worth to people, and if their value system is not to par with what you have defined or stated as your self-worth as far as your service that you provide,
absolutely,
then you can make a choice to either render that service or not to render that service. And that's where I think I'm becoming a gorilla at. Know what I mean? Thanks to E.T., C.J. Carl, know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
And all the motivational speakers, even yourself, know what I mean? So, because...
Wow, you're the reason why I want to make $1 million in 2 years.
Yeah, shout out to $1 million in 2 years. Straight up.
Man, I was thinking about like 6 to 8. I said I wanted to stop working by 30. That's 4 years, so you feel like I feel like you cut me down. Now, I didn't put any anticipation on that, but no, man, you definitely got me on the ground. That whole sleep thing, though, I don't know. I ain't gonna say I love my sleep too much, but I drive a semi-truck, so I gotta get it. I have to get my adequate sleep.
You do.
So I do sleep. I think I got about 7 hours today. So.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it changed for me though. When I was listening to Eric Thomas, he was like, "Yo, you money, like yo, understanding like you're the ATM."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I'm taking on his spirit because he get all.
Yeah, he get all.
He's like,
yo,
you the ATM. Like the reason these Fortune 500 companies are making money because you're the energy that's producing.
You're seeing the money. Yeah.
Yo.
I mean, because you got to think about it. Absolutely. That's how Henry Ford. That's how he created the first. No. Matter of fact, bro, there's a movie that's coming out. It's about when Ford beat Ferrari. I don't know if you're really in there. I'm not really into cars, but it's more of the history of it. It's a movie that's coming. I'm not trying to promote it, but it's a really good movie that's coming out. One of the guys here I cut came in and told me about it. It's when I think it was Ford. I think it was Ford that went to Ferrari, or maybe vice versa, or something like. I think it was Ford who went to Ferrari and asked him to help him do something with a car or build an engine, and he was going to help him, but he wanted to take too much big of a cut.
Yeah.
And that's when he ran into the race car, either driver or the owner, Shelby. That's when they came out with the Shelby back in the 1940s. He came out with the Shelby. Anyways, long story short, Ford, the Shelby actually beat Ferrari. But it was the energy that was put behind that. Okay, it was the energy that Shelby and Ford had. So it was really Shelby. Ford just produced it, but it was Shelby's energy. He had so much energy that he said, I am going to beat Ferrari.
Yep.
I'm going to beat them. And he was just like, he put so much energy into it. And when they did the race, I don't know a whole 100% about the story. I can't really remember all of it, but I don't have a memory like him. My memory is, I got PTSD, I'm not going to lie, military, helicopter crash, all that. So my memory is not as good. But the gist of the story is, and piggyback on the disciple, is exactly that energy.
Yeah.
It's that energy.
Definitely, bro.
But he anticipated that outcome. He knew he was gonna do that.
Straight up, man. So, but back to ET, man. His energy catapulted me into a mind frame that, and this is something I already knew. It just needed to be rekindled.
You know
what I mean? Right. And so, like, I'm energy. Right. Like you were saying, you work at a shop. Yes, I do work at a shop as well. I am. See, even with working at a shop, I see myself as my own business. I'm my
Yeah. I mean, you're your own entity.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Straight up.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the road that has been traveled down to now being an owner of my own mobile shop and partnering with Sal's Barbershop.
Shout out to Shaq.
Shout out to Shaq. That's where I work at.
Yeah, shout out to Kev. Big Kev been doing his thing the last couple of years.
Straight up. But and then also me knowing that I'm the energy that produces income.
Right.
Now I'm able to, like, that's why I said I'm gonna be a millionaire in 2 years.
Yeah, because you perpetuate that. You're
straight up.
Right. You're that energy. So absolutely. Well, this is the end of time right here. We want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully the next podcast will be a little bit longer. I'm not really sure how long this one was. It looks like over an hour.
Maybe an hour,
give or take. But it's it's a definitely a good time for us to share our life stories.
Straight up. Let y'all in on who we are and what we've gone through.
Right.
So y'all can relate to us. I mean, that's the goal.
Just be relatable. That's
straight
it.
up.
Really be relatable. What we will do is, I don't know, maybe a couple of podcasts down the road, maybe they can ask a few questions.
Yep.
Maybe they might be, in some tight situations where, they might say, hey, disciple, what do you think?
Straight up.
Hey, D, what do you think? Or, because also in the future podcast, I got, we got some ideas. I got some ideas.
Me too. Like,
I got some stuff I ain't even told him about.
Likewise the case.
Like,
man,
so.
You know what I mean? Anticipation, though.
Anticipation, absolutely. But we definitely want everybody to, in my terms, be like Nike.
Straight up.
Stay positive. I understand being positive is hard because there's so many little bitty things in life that will kind of slow you down. So I give you a quick suggestion. Me and my wife every morning. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Every Monday through Friday, cause Saturday and Sunday we sleep. While I'm in the shop and she sleeps and baby girl's cheerleading, and then Sundays I'm here at the shop and of course the podcast for now. But at least Monday through Friday we do our attitude of gratitude mornings. Every morning we always talk about what we're grateful for. So if you can find that accountable person,
yeah, bro, and that's something I'm stealing from you too.
Oh, okay. Hey, steal it all.
Incorporate that in my marriage. You know what I mean?
Steal it all, man. Steal it all.
Because I think too many times, like, and I ain't just gonna say women, but a lot of times it is our wife. We have to steer them in a positive direction.
We do. It was my wife too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put her on blast. She was very, very, very negative, and she'll admit it because we'll have her wives on the podcast with us.
Straight up.
As well. So
I think that that attitude of gratitude steers them in a positive direction.
Right.
Like look what you do have. Focus on what you do have.
And not what you don't.
And not what you don't.
Right.
And like I know my wife hates when I'm transparent about her. Like, she hates it.
Tell me about it.
Like, but I don't want to make her into me.
Right.
What I'm trying to do is to get her to
see herself.
Not only see herself, but see how to handle things in a way where what people say don't impact.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because my wife always tell me, well, I'm not like you. I don't want you to be like me.
Yeah, straight up. Just learn from me.
That's it. I don't want you to be like me. So, absolutely.
But I do love my wife. I want her to be her authentic self.
Right.
But I don't want is people to like run over her. But so yeah, I have not yet incorporated the attitude for gratitude into my marriage, but that's something I'm presenting to her real soon. I mean,
just take it slowly. I just heard of E.T. and how he was doing with his wife in the morning, and I was like, you know what? Because my wife would call me, she got road rage, and I just got tired of hearing it.
And see, you listened to some of the earlier podcasts.
That's all I started all the way from one.
So I just dove in from wherever.
From wherever it was. Yeah, I started from one.
Straight up.
But that's how I am. I start from the very, very beginning of something, and then I just work it as I go. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I do things, bro. So.
Yeah, I may go back and catch it.
Yeah,
because I feel like some niggas that I've missed.
Yeah, I think that was probably like maybe the fourth or fifth podcast where he talked about that and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, well, because I think, bro, but I'm a truck driver, like I said, so I got a whole day
straight up
of just driving. And so, and you know me, that's when I call you the most is when I'm driving.
Straight up.
So I'll be like, hey, bro, let's do this. Yeah. So, all right, everybody, I know we kind of side chattering, right. But we do appreciate you listening to the grind frame. The grind frame.
Explain that to the people, man.
Okay, the grind frame. The grind frame is everybody wants to grind, but they don't have the mind frame. And so that's what this is about. So it's the grind frame, the growth process. So that's you growing with us. And we would love for you to share your growth with us as we share our growth with you.
Straight up.
So it's the grind frame, the growth process.
Tell the people where to follow you at, bro.
Right now, bro, I don't really have nothing to follow. I mean, I just got my regular Facebook and my IG, my legendary cuts and styles is my IG. but that's not the grind frame, though. That's all.
Right now, where y'all can get in touch with him at is what? On Facebook.
All right, yeah, because I mean, of course, I'm gonna do the editing and stuff like that, and you'll see, our IG at the bottom and stuff like that.
Straight up.
And then of course, I'm gonna put this 1 minute video. I'm gonna put a 1 minute video and link it to the YouTube. I'm going to create the YouTube. I ain't worried about him doing it because you know how I do it.
Yep.
Because I know he's probably 3 times as more busy as me, so this is helping me.
Yes.
You know, take some weight off his chest. That's kind of what you do when you have somebody to hold you accountable. So this is my accountable business partner, and my wife is my accountable life partner.
Straight up. And we also, if y'all want to get it on the Grind Frame podcast, link us up. I'm sure he'll put all the information up.
I will, absolutely.
But we can also use an editor, young team, who's trying to get into video editing.
Right, absolutely. But you gotta have a grind frame. We gonna hold you accountable because we hold each other accountable. So
straight up,
we letting you know.
Hey, bro, it sound like this morning. I ain't gonna first sound like, are we gonna do this? Are we going to beast mode?
Bro, you woke me up this, but no, my alarm clock had just woke. My alarm clock had just went off. And when my alarm clock had just went off, bro, it was like, and it was like, I opened my phone and I was like, dang, he called, I kind of looked at my wife. I just got up. I was like, let me go. Wash my face, brush my teeth, did my thing. Gave her a kiss, love you, babe. And I hit the door and I called him on my way to the shop.
So the goal is, or the anticipation is to, like, be in you guys' face once a week. You know what I mean? Having the mindset of grinding and showing, like, growth and failures. If you're going to fail, another thing we get from E.T., hurry up and fail.
But you know what I got from Will Smith, though? Did you ever hear his failure speech? He says, practice is controlled failure. Bro, I'm going to send you that, bro. I got to send you that.
Practice is controlled failure.
Yo, bro. I put that up in school. It was a video he put on IG.
That makes sense. So when it clicks,
yes, bro.
Practice on what you don't know how to do,
and watch you grow.
You control that.
Because you gonna fail a whole bunch.
Straight up. But practice.
I said.
Practice failing.
Practice failing.
Yo.
Absolutely.
Practice failing.
Absolutely.
Because eventually you're not gonna fail.
You're not gonna fail.
Dang.
So appreciate y'all tuning in to the Grind Frame's very first podcast / video, YouTube video.
Yep.
Definitely, I have everything. Leave the comments down below. I'm gonna tag everything on the IG. I'm not even sure how many people gonna see it. Am I anticipating it? I'm very excited, but I know what's reality.
Yeah, straight up.
So I'll let reality be reality. Hopefully one day somebody's gonna go back after 300 episodes and start from the beginning and see this one.
And this is what we did. Like you said, just do it.
Just do it.
We talked about it,
and now we're doing it. The only thing we had to do was find time.
See, even that just clicked. Know what I mean? Certain things just click. Right. And once it clicks, bruh.
It clicks.
Shout out. Gone.
Let's get it.
Know what I mean? We out of here.
Appreciate you.
Follow me at Cuts by Disciple on Instagram and
trust me, you'll see it all. It's probably gonna click because he's a little late with that. So it's gonna be at the bottom. So you gonna see it and then he gonna say it. So
shout out. We gone. I gotta go to my second job.
Holla.
Love. Yes, sir. We in here.
Got it.
Bro, that was positive.